I seen something on New York drill officials, like a challenge to like drop your flag or whatever. So I was like impromptu. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make like a funny version of that. So I did it. Now I got this dude, Hocus 45th, who I'm gonna be real with you. Like I heard his name before, but I never actually like knew anything about him. Never talked to him, never met him, never watched any content from him. So I don't know anything about him, but apparently he's like a guy. I guess it's like it's his challenge, which I didn't really perceive, because when I looked at it, I watched like 7 videos in a row on New York drill officials. So yeah, I mean, he's pushing this narrative that like I'm making fun of him or calling him gay for dropping his flag or whatever. I don't even know you to like make a joke about you. So just wanted to get in front of that one. I thought it was kind of funny. I'm gonna be real. But if you want to quit being in a gang, that's cool. You could do that. We don't really do that in LA.
In American street culture, few objects carry as much weight as the flag. It is not a flag in the sense of national emblems or patriotic banners, but a flag stitched from colors, symbols, codes, and histories carried on the backs of young men who step into the world of gangs. To hold that flag is to announce allegiance, to signal identity, to embrace a life that offers both protection and peril. To drop that flag, then, is no small gesture. It is to renounce not only the violence and loyalty that once defined you, but also the sense of self that the streets have imprinted onto your soul. So when a figure like Hocus 45th creates a public challenge urging others to drop the flag, is more than a social media trend. It is an invitation to transformation, a plea to choose life over death, freedom over chains, family over factions. It may sound simple to those outside the culture, but within the inner workings of the street, it is revolutionary. Few men walk away unscathed. Few men even try. Enter Adam22, a podcaster, internet provocateur, and longtime chronicler of rap culture from the vantage point of a white outsider who has built a career curating, mocking, and amplifying the sounds and dramas of the streets. For Adam, the challenge presented by Hocus became fodder for parody. In his eyes, it was not a solemn ritual but a setup for satire, a stage on which he could perform his own detachment. He made light of the gesture, creating a spoof version that reduced a serious act to comedic content. This tension between Hocus' sincerity and Adam's irreverence reveals the widening gulf between those who live the weight of a culture and those who consume it as spectacle. To Hocus, the act of flag-dropping carries stakes that reach into mortality itself. To Adam, it is just another meme in an endless feed of memes. The clash is not simply between two men, but between two worlds, one where symbolism can determine whether you live or die, and another where symbolism is disposable, recyclable content fodder. Hocus 45th is not a household name in the way mainstream rappers are. He does not orbit the gilded spaces of celebrity culture with its luxury endorsements and platinum plaques. His name resonates more in specific communities in the Bronx, in New York's underground, among those who still track the currents of drill and the histories of crews. His authenticity lies not in chart placement, but in lived experience. That he should call for a challenge, encouraging men to renounce the very affiliations that once defined them, is no small act. It is a declaration of maturity, of perspective, of having seen too many brothers fall to bullets or prisons. Adam, on the other hand, approaches culture as curator and commentator. His empire was built on interviews, controversies, and the cultivation of viral moments. He is not burdened by the weight of street allegiance, nor does he live with the dangers of carrying a flag. He has long benefited from his position on the periphery, where he can access the culture without drowning in its risks. From this vantage, parody comes easy. He can laugh, he can mock, he can turn the solemn into the comedic, because the consequences will never land at his doorstep. This dynamic is not new. Outsiders have long commodified the struggles of inner-city communities, reinterpreting their codes for profit and amusement. What makes Adam's gesture sting more is the ease with which he admits ignorance. He did not know Hocus, had never studied him, never followed his path. His parody was not directed at the man specifically, but at the broader concept. And yet, in mocking the concept, he mocked the man who birthed it. In dismissing the gesture, he dismissed the histories it was born from. To understand why this matters, one must sit with the gravity of what flag-dropping means. For decades, gang allegiance has been one of the most binding forces in American urban life. From Chicago's GDs and BDs to Los Angeles's Crips and Bloods to New York's sets that grew in the shadows of housing projects, these affiliations become second skins. They are not hobbies. They are not extracurriculars. They are survival mechanisms, social structures, economic lifelines, and tragically death warrants. To carry the flag is to carry a burden that shapes your destiny. To drop it is to risk being seen as traitor, coward, or target. Hocus Challenge attempts to normalize this act of renunciation. He dares to suggest that liberation is possible, that one can choose life without flag, that gang identity need not be a life sentence. His challenge is less about virality and more about rewriting the script. In a culture where leaving often requires relocation, witness protection, or worse, Hocus dares to make leaving a public declaration. He reframes it as courage rather than betrayal. When Adam trivializes this, he trivializes the struggle of countless young men wrestling with the possibility of escape. He turns a sacred act into a skit. For his audience, many of whom are far removed from the lived experience of gangs, the parody becomes their dominant impression. They do not see the bravery of flag dropping, they see only the absurdity of Adam's bit. And thus the culture of dismissal expands. But this is not merely a matter of respect or disrespect. It is also a question of power. Adam wields a platform that reaches millions, a platform that can elevate or flatten voices. Hocus, despite his sincerity, does not command the same digital megaphone. When Adam mocks, the mockery echoes louder than the original message. This asymmetry mirrors the broader pattern of cultural exploitation. The voices of the marginalized are often drowned out by the laughter of those with the microphone. The irony is sharp. Adam himself, in his own way, once dropped a flag of sorts. He shed affiliations with the subcultures that birthed him, BMX, underground forums, niche internet communities, and reinvented himself in the world of hip-hop commentary. He knows what it is to shift identity, to abandon one world for another. Yet he cannot or will not extend empathy to men for whom that process is infinitely more dangerous. His dropping carried no bullets, no threats, no curses from old allies. Theirs can carry death. The mockery also reveals a gap in cultural literacy. To Adam, gang exit culture is foreign. In Los Angeles, where he resides, gang structures are deeply embedded, but the act of public renunciation is less visible. Affiliations are lifelong, and even when members age out, they often carry residual ties. To see a man in New York openly calling for public flag dropping may strike Adam as unusual, even comedic. He interprets it through his own lens rather than through the lens of the community producing it. In doing so, he mistakes difference for absurdity. But beneath the laughter, the challenge remains. Men still carry flags. Men still wonder if they can drop them without losing their lives. Families still bury sons who never made the leap. Communities still ache for leaders who can redefine courage as peace rather than war. And even if Adam's parody drowns out some of that, the reality persists.